fellow Americans, I am about to sign into law the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Its purpose is national, not regional. Its purpose is to promote a more abiding commitment to freedom, a more constant pursuit of justice, and a deeper respect for human dignity. Let us close the springs of racial poison. Let us pray for wise and understanding hearts. Let us lay aside irrelevant differences and make our nation whole. Let us hasten that day when our unmeasured strength and our unbounded spirit will be free to do the great works ordained for this nation by the just and wise God, who is the Father of us all. Thank you and good night. This administration today, here and now, declares unconditional war on poverty in America.
A war against poverty was the war that Johnson really wanted to fight. In his first State of the Union address, he reached back to the populism of his father and grandfather. He took a Kennedy anti-poverty proposal and made it his own.
It will not be a short or easy struggle, but we shall not rest until that war is won. The richest nation on earth can afford to win it. We cannot afford to lose it.
When Lyndon Johnson became president, 35 million Americans were living below the poverty line in the most affluent country in the world.
President Johnson's program on poverty is distinguished in at least 4 ways. First of all,
in 6 short weeks, Johnson had come up with his package, but he would let Shriver worry about the details. Johnson crisscrossed the country, appealing for support for his anti-poverty legislation. Poverty in America had been invisible. Johnson put it on the front pages.
Our first objective is to free 30 million Americans from the prison of poverty. Can you help us free these Americans? And if you can, let me hear your voices.
For Johnson, it was a return to his political past.
Do something we can be proud of. Help the weak and the meek and lift them up and help them train and give them an education where they can make their own way instead of having to live off the bounty of our generosity.
August the 28th, 1963, some 200,000 people marched through Washington in the biggest political demonstration the Capitol had ever seen. The issue, civil rights for the country's 20 million black minority. Dr. Martin Luther King had already led similar protests in the southern states against discrimination in schools, on public transport, in shops and restaurants. This was taking the fight to the heart of the country itself, and it struck a chord in American consciousness. Within a year, though there were many setbacks on the way, an act was signed prohibiting discrimination in employment, hotels, and government jobs. On the day, the organizers thought they'd be lucky to get 100,000 supporters out onto the streets. In the event, more than double that number turned up. Film stars and politicians, whites and blacks, from all sections of the community, inspired by the rhetoric of Dr. King himself, and by the song that became the battle hymn of the civil rights movement.
One day, this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream
that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream.
Tragically, before that dream could be fully realized, Dr. King died at the hands of an assassin in 1968. But his inspiration lived on and changed the history of race relations in the United States forever.